Hello everybody, my name's Nerdy Lover and welcome to episode 2 of my football betting series here on YouTube. Last time out we did some season-long bets. We picked 5 out from Betfair that we think have a decent chance to return some profit over the course of the season. So have a look at my last video if you would like the 5 bets that we did there. This video is going to be episode 1 of the Premier League because the Premiership starts a week before both Spain and Italy kick off. This episode will be slightly truncated, a little bit shorter, as we're just going to run through the Premier League card and the couple of bets we're thinking about going there. When the other 2 divisions start, I'm not sure if I'll run through the entirety of all 3 divisions, or maybe I'll just focus on the bets which I fancy, and then any that I don't mention or briefly skip over, one could assume that I'm not interested in betting on, but we'll just kind of see how that works for time. But yeah, today we're going to go through the entire Premier League card, have a wee chat about them. If there's good value on the market, might take advantage of some positions. Now, because this is basically 6 days before the Premier League kicks off, is when I'm recording, as you can see from the bottom right of the screen. When I input my bets onto Betfair, I will not be confirming them because what I'll be taking advantage of is market drift. So just before the game kicks off, normally the odds change slightly. Maybe an injury comes up or people decide to lay off equity they had locked in the market earlier in the week, and the odds of the favourites sort of drift or become a little bit more favourable. Sometimes a team that's fancied at 4 to 5 will become even money shortly before kickoff on an exchange. And that's the main advantage of an exchange over a sportsbook, because you're betting against other people and their opinions as opposed to against a bookmaker who typically throughout the week has a fixed opinion. So we're going to jump into game 1, which is Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Last time out, Crystal Palace shocked Arsenal with a 3-0 win as Vieira's sides demonstrated their counter-attacking prowess. Arteta and Arsenal really sort of played into Crystal Palace's hands and their counter-attacking and set-piece orientated style. Interestingly, Arsenal have only won 1 of the last 8 games in all competitions against Crystal Palace, and that particular win came in stoppage time as Arsenal turned around a 1-1 draw to a 3-1 win by scoring goals in the 91st and 93rd minute. That being said, Arsenal are high on confidence. They had a 4-0 win against Chelsea in the famous Florida Cup pre-season competition, and just yesterday thumped Sevilla 6-0. Now, form from friendlies means very little when it comes to competitive football fixtures. However, the confidence that players take from having, these clean sheets, these high-scoring performances, 2 games, they've won an aggregate of 10-0, and there's kind of a generally good feeling about Arsenal this year. A lot of fans of Arsenal and a lot of neutrals are tipping them for that top 4 spot and a return to Champions League football. Where do we land on this? With Arsenal doing so well pre-season and making some shrewd acquisitions, and Crystal Palace, despite winning last time out, not really improved that much, I don't think. I think it's pretty safe to go with Arsenal here. So let's jump over to Betfair and have a small breakdown on what we're thinking. Okay, so Arsenal straight up, if we want to back them, 1.86 is just better than 4 to 5. A £20 stake would return £17.20. So that's our first bet of the Premier League season, unless the odds drift drastically the other way to give us reduced odds for Arsenal. Even though they're away at Selhurst Park, which is somewhat of a fortress, I think the safe money, the sensible money, is on Arsenal to win the game at 1.86. Next up, we go to Craven Cottage as Fulham host Liverpool, and Fulham have a decent record against Liverpool. Last time these 2 teams met in the Premier League, they managed to draw 1-1 in a pre-Christmas game before winning 1-0 against Liverpool in the latter half of the season before being relegated. Looking into those lineups, it does appear that Liverpool were getting a bit experimental at the back. The 1-1 draw featured a back 2 of Fabinho and an unestablished Joel Matip. And the pairing for the 1-0 loss was Williams and Phillips at the back. So basically asking for it there, Liverpool. However, It's the start of the season. It's literally match day 1. Liverpool need to hit the ground running in order to compete with Manchester City in the title race. They're going to be high on confidence following the Charity Shield win yesterday. But the current price doesn't look very good for me. Could be tempted if the odds drift closer to like 1 to 2, but for me it's a pass. If you're interested in this one, maybe wait for an hour or two before kickoff, but just before the lineups are announced. If Klopp names quite a strong Liverpool lineup, those odds are going to plummet. When there's a team that I fancy, which is against a smaller team, sometimes I like to go onto the Asian handicap market. But as you can see here, there's just no value in it on Betfair for Liverpool to win, even if we give Fulham a goal head start. And I don't feel comfortable giving them a 2 or 1.5 goal head start. So this is a stay away from me, but definitely put me down for a Liverpool win. Next off, we have another promoted team featured as Bournemouth will host Aston Villa at Dean Court. Looking at the records, Bournemouth have won each of the last 3 times they have played Aston Villa. However, you can't put too much stock into these historical records because they're all pre-COVID, i.e. 3+ years ago. Basically, the entirety of the Bournemouth and Aston Villa sides have changed since their most recent meeting. So, as I said, you can't put much stock into this. Comparing the sides, there's little doubt that Gerrard has the stronger squad. Away from home on match day 1, I think we can get some decent value. I was going to stay away, but we have odds on Betfair if we click across now. Aston Villa are slightly better than even money, so if we put our £20 in, we get more than £20 return. And it's match day 1, we're feeling a little frisky. Let's go Aston Villa to win against Bournemouth. Next up, Leeds host Wolves at Ellen Road, and this is a stay away, but a lot of maths went to the stay away. Leeds were good in a lot of their games for over 2.5 goals. About 70% of their games had at least 3 or more goals. By that same token, Wolves had basically the opposite record for under 2.5 goals. True to form, when we look at the head-to-head for Leeds and Wolves, just to help us not make a decision even more, one of the games had over 2.5 goals. It finished 2-1. One of the games had under 2.5 goals. It finished 1-1. So this was a bit confusing. So I'd stay away from the goals market. Only thing which we could think about here is both teams to score, but I'm not entirely convinced that both teams are going to hit the ground running. Maybe defence to be a bit shaky, so you could look at both teams to score. I think the draw has some solid value at around about that 3.4 mark on the exchange. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay away from the single market here, and I'm going to add a draw into an accumulator, which I'm building as I go through this video, and I will reveal that at the end. But yeah, Leeds Wolves, stay away from the single market. If you're feeling frisky, go with both teams to score. I'm going to be staying away. Next up, Newcastle Forest. The final of the promoted teams in Nottingham Forest will travel up to Durham County to play Newcastle. Form's kind of out of the window, as neither of these teams have played since 2018, and that was in the Cup. And neither of these teams have played a league fixture since the latter half of the 2015-16 season, when Newcastle took a brief pit stop in the Championship. If you saw my video for the season, you'll know that I'm definitely thinking that Forest will be going down this year. Away at St James Park can be a tricky place to play at the best of times, and with 50,000 hopeful Geordies cheering on their side with the new oil money and the new stronger, bolstered squad, Newcastle look pretty good value at 1.7 for me. It's a bit speculative because there's no form, no real statistics to go off. I think Newcastle are a better team. It's a bit of a punt. Newcastle at 1.7 is the way, and that's going to be our bet. Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspurs get their season underway by hosting the Saints at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Southampton did pretty well last time against Spurs. They took 4 points from the side that's looking to push top 4 last year. They took advantage of Spurs getting off to a poor start by beating them and then drawing in the latter half of the season. Games involving Spurs averaged 2.85 goals per game, and when we look at Southampton's games in the Premier League last season, they averaged 2.89 goals. I do think Spurs have the firepower to secure an over 2.5 goal margin, and that could be the way to go at odds of 1.7 approximately. Can I see Spurs winning 3-0? Okay, yeah. Can I see them winning 2-1? Yeah, that's also a possibility. I don't think either of these teams are going to start off the season conservatively, as Southampton did last year, and never really went anywhere. So both teams are going to want to hit the ground running to challenge for top 4 and to avoid the drop, and maybe if things bounce right for Southampton, push for Europa League. I'm not sure that's on the cards for this year, but that's what they'll be hoping for. I think the sensible money is on over 2.5 goals. It's a bit of a lean for me, so I'm going to be going for a half stake on that of £10. So yeah, that's the bet. Spurs Southampton over 2.5 goals. Saturday's late game takes us to Merseyside as Frank Lampard's Everton host his old club Chelsea. Everton, a little bit like Southampton in the section before, took 4 points from their opponents last season. However, in those games, Chelsea saw possession stats of 78 and 80% respectively, outshooting Everton from 40 attempts to 13 over the 2 games. Now, Chelsea, without the striker issues and the inconsistency of Lukaku under a Thomas Tuchel system, hopefully we'll have a little bit more end product this time. I don't think Chelsea are too bad value, although they are the away team at 1.7 approximately. But this is more betting against Everton being competent than it is backing Chelsea, I think. We do have to remember at the start of the video when we argued for Arsenal's boosting confidence from winning 4-0 against Chelsea. We have to sort of take the opposite argument for Chelsea. They're going to be lower on confidence. Tuchel has been publicly unhappy, shall we say, about Chelsea's preparations for the season. So a word of caution, as they may not come flying out the gate. And you know what? Because we're going to try and protect our kitty of £200, but I do think Chelsea have a good chance to win. This is going to be another half stake at 1.72, £10. This is going to be another half stake. So £10 on to return slightly less, but obviously risking less because of the uncertainty we have. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Chelsea to win. I'm not mega confident. Heading over to the Sunday games now, and we start things off with Brentford hosting Leicester. These sides met 3 times last year. Each time, both teams scored, and each time Leicester picked up a victory. Both league fixtures finished 2-1 to Leicester, and the FA Cup fixture finished 3-1 to Leicester. So, we're thinking Leicester, right? Maybe. If we look at a breakdown on each of the games, Brentford did actually outshoot Leicester in 2 of the 3 games, and overall, across the 3 games, outshot them. Possession stats were roughly even. I'm not saying that Leicester were fortunate to come away with the win, but Brentford definitely didn't deserve to lose each of those 3 fixtures. The one thing that did come in on all those games was both teams to score, and we can get that priced at approximately 1.7. So that's probably going to be what I am leaning towards here, because it is going to be another boring half stake. If you want to go on the form of Leicester winning, that's also decently priced. But both teams to score at roughly 1.7, half stake for me is going to be the first bet on Sunday. Next up, Old Trafford. Manchester United host Brighton, and 4-0. 4-0 was the score last time these two teams played at the tail end of the Ralf Rangnick era. Now, Ten Hag has put in a lot of hard work over pre-season to try to rally this Manchester United side into a team that can compete for top 4. The drama of the Cristiano Ronaldo saga has dragged on, and It appears now that he might be staying at United, but the window's still open, so who knows. Brighton are solid and organised. That's what they've been the last couple of years. And although there's been glimmers of hopeful play for Manchester United in pre-season, it is pre-season, and they have been against some less than stellar sides as well. I don't feel confident taking Manchester United at slightly better than 1-2. If they do win, I think it will be a narrow win. So we could look over at the Asian handicap market and give Brighton a goal lead, or maybe a goal and a half lead. But this is a stay away from me. I'm not very confident at all. And the final game of the first round of matches in the Premier League sees West Ham United host Manchester City. West Ham put up a pretty good fight last time they played, but they couldn't stop City from winning the title. If we have a look at the market on Betfair, it's a bit off here. I can't, especially with Manchester City losing the Community Shield. I can't really justify backing Man City at such a short price. The handicap market's not looking good. I don't have the faith that West Ham will be able to get anything from this game, so it's just a stay away. Bit of an anticlimactic end to the week's worth of games. But let's have a look at a quick recap of the bets that we will take. And here we are, back to the spreadsheet. As you can see, we filled out some of the games in August. Starting on the Friday night, we have Arsenal to beat Crystal Palace at odds of 1.86. A £20 stake returns £17.20. Fulham Liverpool, we have passed on that game. Bournemouth Aston Villa, we are dabbling with a bit of Aston Villa for a £20 stake. Better than even money to return £24. Leeds and Wolves, we are going to pass on the single market for that one. We just couldn't determine whether we're going to have over or under 2.5 goals. Newcastle Forest, we're going to take Newcastle to win that game at odds of 1.7, £20 stake to return £14. And then on the late Saturday games and one game on Sunday, we are going to go a half stakes the rest of the way. Spurs Southampton over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.64, £10 to return a mere £6.40. Everton Chelsea, we like Chelsea on the money line, so 1.73 is good for a £10 stake to return £7.30. Leicester Brentford, you could lean to Leicester at even money, but I think the smart money is on both teams to score at 1.72. £10 stake to return £7.20. And we're going to pass on the Manchester games. Manchester United, a bit of an unknown quantity. The 4-0 against Brighton was a anomalous result, I'm going to say. We're not too sure. We're passing on that. And the final game, despite my belief that Manchester City will be able to beat West Ham, the price isn't right. The market's not there. Manchester City priced at 1-3 away from home against one of the top half teams in the division. There's just no value there, so we've stayed away from that. As I was going through these games and thinking about what I like and don't like, I'm convinced that Arsenal will get a narrow win against Crystal Palace, and I was talking myself into a 2-0 win, but I think we're going to look at Arsenal 2-1, combined with Leeds and Wolves drawing, which I think is a bit of a sit on the fence position, but just for a single pound on a double, I think we get odds of 24-1 if we go over to the sportsbook. Open up our bet slip here. So yeah, that's what I've got. I've got Arsenal to win 2-1 and Leeds Wolves to draw. The odds are actually 25-1, so a £1 stake would return £24.60 profit. So we're going to pop that on just now, actually. Or actually, because it is a bit risky, let's just get rid of some of the change on our account. We're going to go 64p to return £16.38. So I will update the spreadsheet shortly. The final thing I wanted to say was... the reason that I play on a exchange as opposed to a sportsbook is because I will lay off my bets as they start to win. So it'll become more evident when we go through the results of this week's games the following week. But basically what I'm saying is if Arsenal start to win against Crystal Palace, I will go onto the exchange market. Actually, let's pull it up now. Hold on, super unprofessional, I know. You just very quickly rush through this. Arsenal. This may have some value. I mean, some of you guys might know this already, but so yeah, when we're backing, we're going in the blue. That's the backing market. When Arsenal start to win, their odds will drop, and I will lay off equity. So I will put my stake on covering. So I will sacrifice a bit of my winnings. So I won't win the full £17.20. I may sacrifice £2 or £3 of that when Arsenal start to win, potentially in the 70th minute, second half sort of thing. So I will normally turn the bet into something like £15 if I win, or a free bet, so I don't win or lose. Sometimes I could cover it to have a result of £15 each way. What I'll try to do is I'll try to take screenshots on my betting app or jump onto little live recordings. That's less likely to happen, I think, so it might be pictures. But then when we come in to do the week 2 fixtures for the Premier League, I'll recap the results of these games, and we'll kind of talk through what the method is in order to secure little and often wins, because at the end of the day, we are gambling. It's difficult, and if you can guarantee yourself £14 from this Arsenal bet as opposed to risking 20 to win 17, that is how you make money. That's how you make profit in the long term, and that's what I've done the last couple of years. So with that little disclaimer out of the way, I will say, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much for watching. I will tidy up the spreadsheet for when we do the results. And next week, I will be going through Premiership, La Liga, and Serie A, perhaps in a more short-form format, because it has taken me about 2.5 hours to make this 20-minute video. Just don't have that sort of time on my hands, so we might have to twiddle with the format a little bit, but yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, please like it, and thank you very much for watching.